Well, there's a new podcast that is re-examining the investigation of serial killer John Wayne Gacy. And in the most recent episode, the host profiles a story about the key evidence in the case that he says isn't the story we've come to know. Gacy killed 33 young men and boys and buried most of them in the crawl space under his home in the late 1970s. He was executed in 1994. His defense attorneys were Sam Amirante and Bob Motta. Mr. Motta's son Bob is also an attorney and the host of the podcast. It's called Defense Diaries. WGN legal analyst Terry Sullivan is one of the prosecutors in the case, and we will talk to him in a moment. But first, let's bring in Bob. Bob, good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Morning, Larry. Thanks for having me.
Bob, let me set this up for people, because this is obviously a very complicated case. As many viewers will recall, Rob Peace was the victim that broke the case open, and the key evidence that did that was a photo receipt from the drugstore where he worked. The lieutenant on the scene says he found it in Gacy's kitchen trash can, and that opened up everything. So, Bob, what did you learn about this key piece of evidence?
So, Larry, to bottom line it, during the course of my interviews with all of the various officers that were involved with the case back in 1978, 79, during their investigation, what they started to disclose to me, and I have to be honest, I wasn't going in looking for this kind of information. They started disclosing to me that the evidence that was found, that photo receipt specifically, was not found in the house, and that's relevant and important because it was the only piece of evidence that they had that linked Gacy to Peace at all. There was nothing else that existed. So the officers started telling me one by one, and I don't know why they disclosed it, the secret after 40 years, but they started letting me know that they were told that receipt was actually found out in Gacy's garbage that was left out on the front lawn, the garbage pickup. I don't know necessarily whether that's actually the case, but that is certainly the story that the bosses, specifically I think Lieutenant Kozenzak, was relaying to the guys that were actually handling the investigation. All the guys.
So Bob, you learned that the photo receipt wasn't even listed on any of the chain of custody evidence documents that you looked at. So you say the receipt was found in the garbage outside instead of in the house. What difference would that make?
Well, it makes all the difference in the world in terms of when they went in to Judge Marvin Peters to get the warrant on the 21st, which is the warrant in which they went in the house and discovered the first set of bones in the house. That entire warrant was based on two things. One, that photo receipt, and two, one of the officers claiming that when he was in Gacy's house on the 19th, that he had smelled putrefied flesh. That also was fabricated. And I have that coming directly from Carl Humberg, who was the evidence tech, who was actually in the crawl space on December 13th during the first search of Gacy's house when they didn't find anything relating to Peace. And he said definitively to me, and it's all on the podcast, all these interviews are on the podcast, it's not me theorizing, these are all facts. He said he smelled nothing that even came close to smelling like death. Essentially, what we're talking about is the two main things that allowed them to get into Gacy's house and get him arrested were fabricated and planted.
So, Bob, let me ask you, in the end, Gacy's guilty, he's executed, decades have passed. What difference does it make at this point?
Well, and it's a great question. First and foremost, if I'm lead prosecutor Bill Kunkel, who had absolutely nothing to do with any of this and was not aware of what was going on with this investigation, I'd be furious that they would have potentially handed him like a massive time bomb that could have exploded in his face at any moment. You know, the reality is that it was an insanity defense. My father and Sam just were not looking at the facts of the case in that sense. They were trying to prove that he was insane, not that he didn't commit a crime. So the bottom line is, Larry, what really has to be looked at is, yeah, Gacy's dead and gone, but every case that Kozenzak touched, like any case that there's been an exposure of policeman misconduct, such as planted evidence or coerced confessions, they always have to go back and reopen everything that cop has ever touched. So anybody who's sitting in prison for 30, 40 years, who's gotten out of prison, frankly, everything that Kozenczak touched, because of this exposure of what happened in a case of this magnitude, every case that he ever touched has to be looked at. I mean, that's just a fact.
Well, Bob, we appreciate you joining us. It's very interesting. The podcast is called Defense Diaries.